Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm going to talk to you today about medication, and in particular medication for children. Now, many of my friends have children and indeed grandchildren who are very active indeed, even overactive. This overactivity does cause problems at home and in school. But I have been reading recently about some examples of overactivity in children, and in particular some recent statistics, and I was quite surprised by them. I'm referring now to the statistics of the United States of America, where it seems that 11% of school children are diagnosed with attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD. And this means that 6 million children, approximately, in the USA are diagnosed with the disorder. Now, it has become, unfortunately, very common for all of us simply to take drugs, to take a pill, to swallow medicine, to get rid of any problem. And ADHD comes into that category too. Children are commonly given such medication as Ritalin, that's the most well-known of them, in order to calm them down. I remember when I was a child at school, and that's a very long time ago, there were also overactive children. The normal way of dealing with an overactive child was to make sure that he or she did a lot of sport, physical exercise, in other words, was exhausted physically and therefore calmed down. Or you would give such child a glass of warm milk at bedtime, and that worked as well. But not now. Now, as with most things, we need a rapid answer. We need a remedy, and that remedy is usually, as I said, some form of medication. I read recently a very sad tale about a small child who was overactive, was given Ritalin, and who ended up selling his Ritalin to his fellow schoolmates, turned it into a sort of marketplace. He also, I'm afraid, did not reach a happy end. That's perhaps a rare case, and one would hope so. But it is quite true that we resort to a quick fix of pills for everything, and perhaps too quickly as well. The long-term strategy might be therapy and might be the sort of measures, gentle and soft measures that I mentioned before. Physical activity, glass of warm milk and the like. The trouble is, we live now in a society which is dominated by the big pharmaceutical companies and the widespread use of drugs, whether they are prescription drugs or over-the-counter. Such drugs are often not even tested on children and therefore are particularly dangerous. The other thing is, what do children do? They emulate their elders, they emulate adults, their parents. And the parents are more and more disposed to taking a pill, somehow covering whatever the problem is with some form of medication, be it an enhancement performance drug or a simple aspirin or indeed antibiotics, the over-prescription of which is also causing major problems. We can see that these problems are on the increase, that we tend to take a pill for almost anything instead of just leaving the time necessary, even a simple cold. If you leave it for a week, it will go away. If you take pills, it will still take a week to go away, but you will be weakening your immune system by taking drugs, and antibiotics certainly are proving to be a big problem here. So I would recommend to go easy on the pills, to think about perhaps more long-term and gentle strategies, to try and take the time to let an illness, as long as it's not a very serious one, take its course, so that again we will build up our immunity in future, and not just immediately to look to the medicine cabinet and swallow a pill to make ourselves feel better. It seems to me that it's time we started thinking along those lines.